What is up guys, Max here, and welcome back to another video. Now I'm still on my accumulation of gear phase. I keep buying stuff because I've been building out my rig, going crazy. Yeah, we've got our taxes back, woo woo, stuff like that. But today, I got the Shogun Inferno. It is a wonderful external recorder and monitor for your camera. In this case, it'll be for the GH5 and the GH5S. But I also went ahead and picked up the accessory kit. So, we've all seen this Shogun Inferno, but the accessory kit that you can get on top of the Shogun that's like a couple extra $100 or whatever it was. And let's see what's inside. And also kind of funny, I'm actually recording my audio on my handy H6 Zoom recorder right here. And here's my receiver doing its job on my rig. How cool is that? But another weird note, you've seen a lot of these Manfrotto mini tripods. I'm sure you've seen it, you probably own one. And I threw my rig on, it's like knowing it probably wouldn't hold it. And of course the little dial on here just fell and it flipped over because it's not strong enough to hold it. But I had this really cheap tripod thing I had before this that locks in place and holds this rig no problem. Really surprising. What's crazy, there's actually a built-in battery to this little tripod that you can plug your phone into, assuming that you're powering your phone. So one of the legs is actually a battery, which is really neat. So kudos to this little cheap butt tripod. What is it made by? It's made by PhotoPro. So hands down, that's actually a really good little tripod. In my opinion, now better than this one. But let's get into this. Let's unbox the Shogun and then go to the accessory kit afterwards. Now this is the first time I'm using this. I've watched a lot of videos on it, so be warned. So I've repositioned the GoPro to get a little better shot. Not perfect, but it will get the job done. So opening up this box, super nice case, not bad. And there it is, the Ninja Inferno. Well, the Shogun Inferno, not the Ninja, I'm sorry. Shogun Inferno. This is the top dog, it's like number one. Right off the bat, comes with one of their little hard drive cases you can stick an SSD in. I did go ahead and pick up one of the Atomos 1 terabyte G Technology drives. I think it's like the certified version. Probably not that much better, but hey, they say it works really well. And now we get to do the thing everybody loves to do. We get to peel the plastic off. There we go, got the plastic. Gonna give it a nice peel. That feels pretty good. So there's that. Inside the little accessory piece over here, as you can see, it's just some the instructions. Keep those for later. I'm sure there's like a warranty thing. A power pack, 2 little cables, and the different country power thingies. The thing about an Inferno or any external recorder like this, you do need to buy a lot of extra stuff. So it's really not the base price. You know, you're looking like these things are like $1,000 and you're gonna be buying a lot more to get it up and running. So that's where the accessories come in. So we can actually throw this thing on the camera and take a look at some of the options. But you may be wondering, why would you even buy an external monitor? Why couldn't you buy like a small HD focus or something like that, which they're great, small HD focus. I'm planning on picking one up, and more than likely you'll see me unbox it on camera, whatever. This is how it is nowadays. Now this is a great piece of hardware to go along with your camera. In this case, the GH5 can film 10-bit footage at like 24, 23, 30 frames per second, 4K. 10-bit footage is beautiful. And the big difference between 10-bit footage and 8-bit footage is the banding and gradients and stuff like that. So, example here, this is 10-bit, perfect flow of a gradient. 8-bit, you can kind of see the gradient transition between the colors. And you get when you're filming like things like the sky, stuff like that, you can kind of see that color difference. And 10-bit footage will allow you to do better color grading, better things like that. I don't want to get too deep in it, but it's better. It's just, hands down, it's better. So, amazing monitor. What's in the accessory kit that we can use to build this thing with? So I'm gonna put this to the side for the second. The case is actually pretty nice too. Always a plus. We know this is a hard drive, super simple. Oh yeah, and some extra stuff. Throwaway items. More memory cards for my cameras, always plus, and another quick release plate to complete the set. So super simple. did that in another video. But we have the accessory kit by Atomos. Yeah, literally by Atomos. Nice hard case, no big deal. But we're gonna rip this thing open and see what we got going on. So, let's get going. There's this. I don't care too much about the box. I don't plan on taking it back anytime soon, so gonna yank this bad boy out, just like so. My cat will find that box and he will enjoy it. He loves Amazon just as much as I do. The boxes show up while I get the stuff. Okay, there's some foamy things keeping it safe in the box. That's nice, okay. It is a hard case. This is not like a Pelican case. I wouldn't imagine it is much better than anything like that. But let's see what's inside. I actually didn't look at the box, see what's inside. I'm kind of oh, I need the accessory, so I went ahead and bought it. Cool, so, oh, there's a spot for the Ninja. Here, let's reposition the GoPro once again so you can really see in this thing. Okay, so GoPro's been repositioned, and we can see, so accessories under. I was looking and I said, oh, there's missing stuff, but obviously you can see there's these 2 batteries that are great, and what's great about the Inferno is the batteries are hot swappable, so you can have multiple batteries, and what's also awesome, these are the same batteries I use for my lighting, so that's nice. So I have a bunch of those now. I'm hoping it comes with a battery charger, because if it doesn't, that's annoying. More cases for SSDs, so you don't have to buy the actual proprietary drives for this. What's great about Atomos, you can use any SSD, which is amazing. Just plug it into this thing, screw it into this, and it slides in, so you can pick up some SanDisk SSDs that are super reliable, and that works just fine, which I totally will, because this SSD was actually like $349, and a SanDisk 1 terabyte, this is 1 terabyte, a SanDisk 1 terabyte is $249, so save $100. I got the proprietary one as like my main workhorse, but I might get a bunch of 512s to fill these up with, have a bunch of drives, because you might ask, well, why don't you just film on your GH5? That's the same question I might get, but I shoot a lot of interviews, a lot of corporate interviews, and we talk with executives and people who just talk a lot. And we sat one day for 3 hours with a guy talking about some crazy, crazy research science stuff. And each one of my GH5 memory cards films for like 49 minutes at 4K, and there are both 64 gigs in there. I do 64 gig cards. This is what I choose. But with something like the Atomos Shogun with a 1 terabyte drive, powered, you can literally film with a terabyte of footage. So that'll last plenty of time to cover an entire couple-hour interview. Here's the card reader. This is kind of, it feels fine, feels a little janky, but I have SSD readers, so a slotter I can just dump it into. So this is nice, but it feels kind of plastic. I don't know how I feel about that, but I have a nicer solution for this on my desk at all times. So let's see what's under the hood. Oh, this is a audio jack. Looks like an audio cable just sitting in here. Okay, that's fine. Let's look under the hood. Pull this whole thing out. Okay, so here is the box that goes around, so when you're outside you can see into it really well without bright or... It's easy to see in the sunlight. I can't get those words out. So that's kind of nice. That'll be fun to put together. And then we have a strap. That's kind of cool. Here's the power cable for a DTAP power cable. That's nice. So if you have a big DTAP battery, it's a D-lock battery situation going on. Here is the battery charger. It looks like for your stuff, which is super nice. I'll be able to charge 3 of those batteries at once because my light kit actually came with a nice charger for the batteries, charges both at the same time. And then we have some screws and stuff. Okay, so I mean the accessory kit seems fine. I'll put the prices up on screen of the accessory kit versus just buying the Inferno. I don't know if it's worth that extra money, but because everything seems kind of plastic, but whatever, you know, we'll deal with it. It's kind of needed. You need the batteries and you need all that stuff anyways. So, is it worth it? Only if you're an enthusiast, which I'm an enthusiast. Yeah, I think the accessory kit was only like $100 now that I think about it. I'm probably wrong, but I'm trying to justify it in my head right now. So, but the batteries are definitely essential. But you can always pick up more of those for on the cheap, pretty much. But hey, there's a big case for it, which I'll probably never use. So, let's throw this Ninja Inferno on my camera, plug it up. So to make this happen, I have an axler arm and I don't know what this one is called because there's not a label, but it's a cheaper one off of Amazon. But so far, it's really nice. We're gonna go with that. Slide the old faithful over here. Right on, right on. I think I might end up using the smaller one because I don't really need the screen to be like 6 feet off the ground, the longer one. So unscrew this. All we need is this. Reposition the camera. Pop this into one of these so I still have handle room on the back. Tighten it up so I can actually like screw it in real quick. No problem at all. Make sure it's nice and tight before I do all this other stuff. Yeah, that should be good. I think we're in a good spot here. Footage. Hopefully those batteries are a little bit charged. We can pop on the Inferno and actually go for it. I don't want to put my lighting batteries on there because I'm already using those. So screwing this on should be no brainer. There is a cage you can buy for this thing, like a little camera cage, but it's for the screen. I did not pick that up. I probably eventually will, but we should be good. But what? Oh. But now I can start talking about this thing. What's so great about it? Well, number one, it's a monitor. It's like a nice 7-inch monitor. Lets you see your content instead of the tiny butt screen on the back of the camera. So you don't have to worry about focusing as much. It looks nicer. All that stuff. But the Inferno comes with tons of different settings, and you can look up a bunch of different videos on YouTube all about it. I would love to go into detail in this video, but I'm not. This is more of an unboxing, setting it up on the camera, first impressions kind of thing. But it is a jammed, packed monitor with tons of features, and it records. In this case, we can record 60 frames per second, 10-bit footage, whereas the GH5S recorded 8-bit at 60 frames per second, which that is one of the biggest reasons to pick this thing up. And also to record pretty much all day on that 1 terabyte SSD versus switching out memory cards all day. So let's pop on these batteries, see if we got any charge. They typically come with charge. So, well, hell, Bob, if I can get these dang things in here. There's that one. Oh, don't put it in backwards. Now this does add a little weight to your camera, but what I do love about the GH5S, full-size HDMI. I do have much smaller cables that I can use, but I'm gonna use a big fat one for this thing. We will change it later. We'll get something nicer. HDMI in. And let's see if it powers on. Power button on the side over here. Hey, we got a red light. I was thinking those batteries were dead. Okay, so error updating Atomos OS. There has been an error updating your firmware. You will need to reinstall. Please ensure you have the latest version of Atomos for your product at atomos.com/support. Unzip and place atomos.ft onto your media and insert into device. So, luckily I got an SD card laying around because there's an SD card slot on this thing where you can knock in your stuff. They're supposed to be. Well, that's annoying. Do we need to update it to use it? Let's do some time traveling and have a something ready on this thing real quick. So we'll be back in a second. So we're back. Turns out the card reader is pretty essential for reading these SSDs in these cases because with the case on it, it won't fit in a traditional SSD reader. So that's annoying. I have to use theirs, but no big deal. So I put the file on here that it said for me to put on here. Really simple. Go to the support site, download the new firmware, unzip it, drop it on, and we're gonna plug it in and insert into the device, and we're gonna see what happens. I'm just kind of going for it right now. So if I turn this off, but I am going to plug it into power really fast because it says online while updating the firmware that you should plug it into power. It does take quite a second to turn on. You know, you hold the power button. I mean, I guess so. It's a little computer. But back at it. So I've been looking around online. I'm just gonna turn it off. There we go. So, that was strange. I clicked on this and the battery thing pops up, but if you click on that, this tiny little arrow right here looks like it's, I don't know if you can see it, this tiny little arrow is clicking to like the batteries, but whatever. Okay, so now we can format the media. Formatting the drive. Then should be good, finally. So that was like 20 minutes later of me looking around online playing. I cut the footage to make it seem like it went faster, but it didn't. It was me figuring this thing out. So first impressions of the Ninja Inferno. It seems like a great device, but be prepared to have some troubleshooting just in case, which is always just a blast, just such a blast. So we'll plug this in finally to the camera. Turn my GH5 on. The input should pop up. I'm hoping it just pops up. It's like the least, amount of my worries. Input. Source. HDMI. Pull this off, and there we have screen. So, first impressions of the Shogun Inferno. Back to it. I'm not gonna go, this is a whole thing for me to dive in, then jump back in and tell you guys about it. But first impressions, it was annoying setting up, for sure. It was like, for the accessory kit and the Inferno, it was like $1,300. The list goes on and on of the potential and what it can do. But yeah, this thing retails for $1,295. It seems to be really awesome so far, but yeah, like I said before, it's clearly a pain to set up because of the error messaging and updating the firmware thing that I didn't even update. But I mean, I'm pretty stoked to try this thing out and eventually give my full rundown and use case for this monitor. Besides being able to record some amazing footage, it doubles as a really nice monitor for your camera. So I think that's it for today. It's getting kind of late here. I do want to go do some other stuff, like edit this video now. But I've been fiddling with this new equipment for too long, and we're now just kind of wasting time. And you can see my reflection in this thing. It's kind of weird. I'm covering my face up. Oh my God, it's annoying. Yeah, so, but as always, I'm Max. I'm not discrediting the Shogun Inferno. I mean, sometimes there's troubleshooting. Sometimes it happens with gear. It is just a fact of life. Everything is not always super smooth, and that's something we just have to live with. But overall, a nice experience. I'm happy to have a new piece of hardware. But as always, I'm Max. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for being a part of the channel. If you're new to the channel, feel free to like and subscribe. Keep up with the new content. I do a lot of weird stuff on here. I'm expanding as always. Premiere Pro tutorials, After Effects tutorials. I'll probably get into some other stuff like Cinema 4D and Nuke. I'm really enjoying Nuke. I've been learning that lately. And we'll keep the gear stuff going. I'm definitely a gearhead. So that about wraps it up. Until next time, guys. Peace.